René was very dapper. He had a very sense of what he looked like. He had his clothes tailored in London, perfect black shoes. I was born in Paris, and I took my first steps in Versailles. And then my family moved to London, this lovely house in Eaton Place. And my American grandfather, when London was being bombed, really asked us to come over and stay there in New York. So we came over in the most awful convoy of torpedoes. I had my 16th birthday in New York. From there on, I sailed on. My name is Denise Bouché Fitch. Daddy was very insistent that we girls do something. One day, I was showing hats at Madame Daché, Lily Daché, and a very nice editor of Vogue, Bab Simpson, she said, I think you'd be very good at Vogue. And I met Jessica Daves, the editor-in-chief of Vogue New York, and I would sign Nicky de Gainsbourg, very fussy, tall gentleman, who wanted the right accessory for the best clothes on 7th Avenue. And so I enjoyed those days there. I met René Bouché the first time when he was doing all the drawings of the great collections. He was very young when he first went to Vogue, but his handwriting and everything is very different then. So young, so different, unformed. I remember he had a show at Yola's Gallery because I'd say, Monsieur Bouché, what do you want today? Oh, no. He had a very curled voice. He was born in Prague. Oh, just a red umbrella and one rope of pearls. Nothing else, Monsieur Bouché? No, thank you, that's fine. So one day I went to a cocktail party and there he was. And I danced in front of him all the time, so he noticed me. It worked. We started our romance and he went to England. I was left in New York and then he came back and then I had to go to Europe. He missed me. I got some lovely letters. So I married out of the usual love's game, and instead I married a rather famous artist. I was looking forward to being painted by Monsieur Bouché. He didn't ask me right away, could you sit for a portrait? Would you like to sit for a portrait? What am I wearing in the portrait? Oh, a white fluffy dressing gown. Yes. Somebody saw it and said, oh, she can't. Alex Lieberman, head of Vogue, art director, she can't have this dressing gown. It should be closed a little bit more here. So we closed it. And the rest was just what he felt. By breakfast, I was having breakfast in this white, fluffy dressing gown. So I think René was the best portrait painter I've ever known in our generation. What he saw, of course, it went straight into the pencil. Every face he caught is a portrait. So I met these people that he knew. They were great friends. They loved him. He had a very endearing charm, and he got their faces very well. So we went to Chanel and had lunch, the three of us, Chanel, Bouché and me. I loved her clothes. He wanted to give me a Christmas present. He chose it for me. Very simple, navy blue, lined in shocking pink silk. It's a little collar with a white piqué bow. I still got the piqué bow, not the suit anymore. He was one of the great illustrators of all time of fashion. I don't think he had any trouble with his scissors, except maybe the famous Elsa Maxwell. Oh yes, there was quite an episode there. It was described by Robert Hughes, the art critic for Time magazine. He said it was like a Velazquez dwarf. And he was right. I don't know what he thought about the painting, but he knew it was good. And because she didn't like the portrait. As I told you, she didn't look around at all. She didn't want to look at his work. He was always very compassionate to the sitter. Tammy Grimes got very nervous, the actress, and said, oh, you must show me my my legs, and he would go up to her and say, "Pat, paint, never mind, darling. We'll paint your legs in. Now you just relax." Kennedy was on the run. He wasn't sitting at his desk calmly in the White House. I remember Kennedy said, "Come along, paintbrush." When he was trying to get the Face for Time cover, René would be around all the time trying to get the more relaxed president. And then he also knew Jackie by then and did a lovely drawing for her. And he did Sophia Loren on the cover for Time. Jean Kirk, she was a good cover. A wonderful picture of Truman Capote with his hand on the hip and purple sweater on or something. And he wasn't very tall. He wasn't very nice, but not as snobbish as Cecil Beaton. Much more easy to talk to and get on with. So René and I were in Paris, and I would come with him to this lovely apartment that had a terrace all the way round. So I decided to have a lovely piece of fish and a bottle of wine on the terrace in this beautiful sun and Place de la Concorde and back. And then afterwards, I thought I'd go to sleep, which I did. But it was very hot, and I took most of my clothes off. And to my horror, all of a sudden, I hear René and the Duchess of Windsor arriving to do her portrait. I wasn't awake, I was still asleep, so I dashed into the closet and stayed there. And he said, "Where were you?" I'm good, as the English say.